Hey, hope you're doing well. My name is Dave Powers, and it's really cool to be with you today as we're kind of every day. The Savvy Musician Academy is producing some videos that are helpful, kind of talking about the necessity to transition as musicians into being online musicians. I think forever we've had this, musicians have had this thought process that our time equals our money. In other words, it's a service-oriented mindset. So we have to book gigs, we have to show up and play places and hopefully sell merch and stuff like that. But, these times are changing, man. I'm broadcasting from my house. You're probably at your house. We're all kind of stuck at home. And so we're in a different season now, as you all know. And really, this is the perfect time to become an online musician. I don't even know if there's been this good of an opportunity to become an online musician ever in history, certainly. But I think that this is probably a season that's more advantageous for artists than ever since maybe the 50s. There is so much opportunity, so much possibility for us to become successful financially, to be strong in what we're doing. So anyway, again, my name's Dave Powers. My wife and I are a singer-songwriter duo called Mountain City. We're in Denver, Colorado, and we've built a six-figure business, music business, online. And so Steve and Leah asked me to come on and just talk about that a little bit. And if you have any questions, for sure, chime in. I'm sure the team will be getting back to you with answers and all that stuff. So I'm going to kind of share a little bit about my story. And my wife wasn't able to make it with me today because she's hanging with our sons, who are homeschooling now, video school, So anyway, she's probably running around. If you hear racket in the background, it's them, probably. And who knows, we might even get somebody back behind me visiting. So I'll be able to introduce you to some of them maybe. Anyway, I've got my notes here on my laptop, just on my lap. So I just thought we could kind of hang together and talk about a few things. I want to talk to you today about the difference between a service-oriented mindset and a product-oriented mindset, because that changed everything for me. So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into a little bit about streaming and how to leverage streaming right now as an online musician to your benefit. Find fans, locate possible collaborations. I've actually partnered with the Savvy Musician Academy last year to create an online course called the Spotify for Musician course. And so we can, I'll tell you a little bit about that if you want to know about it. Feel free, again, to chip in and ask questions if you have them. I'll do my best to answer them. Can't guarantee that I know the answer, but I'll do my best to answer it anyway. I think I'm going to talk a little bit about memberships and the power there today, and then I'm going to talk to you about how I've built an a team of people. I call them the loudmouths, and how they have helped really boost organic reach on social media, which has been really cool. But it's also been a really beautiful opportunity for us to locate our super fans and to invite them into greater participation in what we're doing. So I'm going to get started just talking about kind of a service-oriented mindset versus a product-oriented mindset. And Alex, I see you're already typing stuff in, which is cool. And your question is, how much money do you need to start with for marketing, and how much of it was target marketing via Facebook? Okay. I'll answer that question really quickly, and then I'll kind of move forward into the service-oriented mindset versus product-oriented mindset. So Alex, how much money do you need to start with for marketing, and how much of it was targeted marketing versus via Facebook? I did a fair amount of target marketing via Facebook when I started on Facebook. I do want to say this, that lots of artists that I see are just trying to put content out on social media right now, and lots of them are going live right now, so there's a lot of saturation there. But if your social media presence doesn't have an end game in mind, then you're kind of wasting your time to a degree. And here's what I mean. Lots of artists are like putting out lots of information, but it's not going anywhere. Like, you want the information that you put on Facebook or any other social media platform, ultimately, in my opinion, to drive toward an email capture. Pretty much any marketing guru in the nation right now will tell you, if you are building your email list and making it really strong, email is gold. That is the primary way that people are selling things online today, is by capturing emails. So first of all, Alex, I want to say that your marketing, in my opinion, should always drive toward an email capture and figuring that whole thing out, which the Savvy Musician Academy has some killer material, step by step, walk you through the entire thing about how to build funnels, how to get information like that. They'll coach you the entire way, which is really awesome. In terms of the finances, I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what your goals are. I started out really organic, so I just started, texting everybody that I knew, emailing everybody that I knew, and going through social media stuff that I already had personally, and inviting people, and kind of getting into it that way. At some point, though, it was probably a year in, I reached a ceiling where I just didn't have anyone else to invite. I did everything that I knew at the time on how to do, and so then I transitioned into doing some intentional Facebook marketing. And when I started doing that, it really started growing our fan base online. I think our little duo, my wife and I, Mountain City, I think we probably have 170,000 followers on Facebook or something. I built it up to about 5,000 personally, and then I got stuck, and so started doing some Facebook stuff. I can't even remember how much I put into it, because then at one point it just starts kind of going and growing by itself. But I think I was on some of these things, on some of the ads that I was running, I think I was getting new page likes or whatever for, oh man, I don't know, like a half a cent or less. It was crazy. I think 0.3 of a cent I was getting likes for at the time. It was nuts. So cool. Yeah, so hopefully that's helpful, Alex. I think it's just kind of dependent on your budget, but start with what you have. Start with what's in your hand, your relationships and stuff like that. And then I think you just responded that you've been setting up an email account through the band's website. Great. You're an online band, live in 4 separate countries. How cool is that? That's awesome. Okay, you're producing videos. Yeah, I just want to market properly. Yeah, cool. I'm glad that this is helpful for you, man. And man, the Savvy Musician Academy has tons of information specifically for this. So, okay, I want to transition into talking about the difference between a service-oriented mindset and a product-oriented mindset. So this was something major for me. I guess for most musicians, there's a general thought process that you have to play live in order to get paid. It's a service-oriented mindset. That's what it is. And I had kind of thought that way for a really long time. But then I started getting around people like Leah and Steve and some others that were really influential in helping me think differently and transition between I'm trading my time for dollars. I got to show up to a gig in order to get paid so I can pay my bills, and that mindset, to start thinking like, in a product-oriented mindset, you can develop products, market them well, and then you can make money while you sleep. You don't have to show up and play a gig or trade your time for dollars in that way. You invest in a product, you market that product well, and you can make money all night long. Like right now, my business is primarily online, and I make $12 an hour, 24 hours a day. That doesn't sound super sexy initially until you get the old calculator out, because $12 an hour is, it's 6 figures. It's $120,000 a year-ish, or 100. It's over 100. This year, if nothing, like in 2020, if nothing changes, even with economic stuff, If nothing changes, I haven't seen a decrease since this economic stuff with the coronavirus and all that. I've actually seen an increase in terms of streams and interactivity and things that we're selling online. If nothing changes, we'll make over $120,000 this year just on online stuff. And obviously, I'm not saying that to be weird. I'm just telling you what's possible. I don't think that I'm anything particularly special. My wife is pretty special, though, and I like her a lot. She's amazing. But yeah, I think we're just kind of learning how to market products online. So initially, I started thinking about products in terms of my songs. And so instead of viewing it as a CD that I could sell at a live show, I started breaking it down so that every song I have was a product. And then I would start marketing each song as an individual standalone product with a story behind it, with specific demographics in mind. And I started viewing kind of from a streaming standpoint on all these streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Groove, Deezer, whatever. I started viewing each individual song as a product and then marketing this specific song to this specific style of playlists. And that was super powerful. When I started out the streaming, kind of exploring how to make money and how to connect with people, I got stuck. I had probably at the time 150,000 followers on Facebook, and we had 629 monthly listeners on Spotify. And that was after me trying hard and working. It was like, God, I couldn't figure it out. It was so frustrating. And so one night I was kind of thinking and processing. This idea came to me about how to build Spotify, basically. So I started implementing that on July 1st, 2017. And by August 20th, it went from 629 monthly listeners July 1st to 62,400 monthly listeners on August 20th. It's like, oh my Lord, this is crazy. This is really cool watching it grow. And Spotify is on like a 28-day reoccurring, or it's not reoccurring, but it kind of gathers your statistics like in a 28-day kind of picture, which means 29 days ago your stats drop off and yesterday's stats get added. So it's always fluctuating. It's always going up and down. And so I went up dramatically because I had triggered the Spotify algorithm. And then it started coming down dramatically. It went from like 62,400 down to 23,000. And that few days of it just dropping. And I was so depressed. I was like, it was super frustrating. But then it started going back up as I continued to work. It went up to 40,000 or something. Then I released a Christmas album with my wife, and it went up to 200,000 monthly listeners, and then it went back down to 40,000, 45,000, and it hangs between maybe 60 and 80 or 90,000 right now, always fluctuating. But when I started kind of viewing each song as an individual product that had a story, that had a target audience, that helped me start shifting into a product-oriented mindset. Man, that has been so helpful. So I think I got connected to the Savvy Musician Academy 4 or 5 years ago, like maybe 6 months into Leah starting this whole thing. I saw an online video, and she was just saying, hey, I'm using these principles of online sales to generate incredible sales. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 5 kids. I homeschool them. And I play Celtic metal, This not a very popular genre, but I'm making 6 figures by employing these methods. Well, man, she had my ears. I was like, yep, I'm signing up right now. And so since then have kind of grown and developed friendship with her and her husband, Steve, which are just such sweet, powerful, wonderful people. So full of synergy and vision, and they're awesome. Anyway, I took several of the classes, starting with the Online Musician, and then took a bunch of other ones, finally culminating in the Superfan System Elite. And man, have been learning a ton of stuff. It's such a cool community to be a part of. But about a year ago, a little bit more, they approached me and said, hey, could you help us start a class to help musicians, kind of educate them how to make money on Spotify and figure out the whole streaming thing? Because when streaming came out, and I'm sure you remember this, everybody was complaining big time because they were like, you know, all the musicians that were selling music online, especially the big musicians, they're selling their songs for $1.29 per song, or $1.99 to begin with. And after all the taxes and fees and credit card transactions and all that stuff came out, they were used to making about 70 cents per song. So if you sold 1 million songs, you got $700,000. That's a lot of money. Well, right now, Spotify on average pays out 0.4 of a cent or 0.5 of a cent per stream instead of 70 cents a song. And so everybody was complaining because, you know, 1 million songs on iTunes was $700,000. 1 million streams on Spotify was $4,000. So that's a pretty major hit to their economy. So they were all frustrated and angry about that until they learned the power that was reoccurring income. That as people not just purchased your song once, but as they listened to it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and they put your song on playlists with other artists and introduce your music to similar artists or all these different things, the wheels start turning and they're now making insane amounts of money. Like if you look at Ed Sheeran as an example. In fact, let me just pull up his Spotify page here really quick. Let's just see. Let's see how much Ed's making over here on his top, let's say 10 songs. This is going to be rough estimate, all right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's got roughly 10 billion streams on his top 10 songs. And if we do 10 billion, let me make sure I'm doing the math right here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, how many zeros is that? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there. Times 0.004. Yeah. Yeah, it's $40 million. $40 million on 10 songs on one platform. You know, iTunes on average pays out artists between 6 and 7/10 of a cent per stream, which is about 50% more than Spotify does. And I don't know if you know this. This is kind of not widely known. But right now, Amazon gives an average of almost a cent to artists per stream. So if you really want to make some better money with streaming, start marketing to people that listen to music on Amazon. They give you more than double what Spotify gives you. That is crazy. So anyway, once they started figuring this whole thing out, they were like, oh, this is not nearly as bad. And then, being the business people that they are, they started buying stock in Spotify. All of these big conglomerates, and I'm sure a bunch of different artists and all that. And yep, so then they get to negotiate a better advantage. So, you know, people like me that get 0.4 of a cent, 0.5 of a cent per stream, artists like Ed Sheeran, I'm sure, make more. Because his record labels probably own stock in Spotify. So anyway, lots of cool opportunities just for normal musicians like us that have something to say, that create good, solid, quality music. We can actually make an income that is not bad by focusing online. So Alex, you just asked a question. Is there an easy way to find user-created playlists on Spotify? I'd be happy to email the playlist owners directly, but I have no idea how to find that information. Also, don't even know where to find these playlists. Maybe just asking the fan base who they're listening to, etc. Okay, so Alex, I go like a deep dive in that exact thing on the course, the Spotify for Musician course. But in general, you can search for a playlist. Some of them, some of the playlists are people, let's see, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Let me try to say it articulately because I'm not doing a good job, obviously, right now. I do better on the course. But, okay, so when people sign up for Spotify, lots of times they'll use their Facebook credentials to do it. And so sometimes you'll see playlists that are just a bunch of gibberish, like letters and numbers. Sometimes you'll see a business name on there. Sometimes you'll see a person's name on there. And if you click on the person's name, frequently it will show the picture of their Facebook profile. And then you take their name and their picture and go on Facebook and try to find them, befriend them, send them a message. That's one way to do it. Obviously, you can go through a bunch of different, there's all kinds of different companies that'll try to market your music for you. And they've got a grouping of user-generated curators that have playlists, and they submit those songs to them. You have to pay for it. But even though the way that I just talked about takes a lot longer, it's way more relational. And so I show you strategies about how to do that, how to look for your specific playlist, how to think about each song as a product, how to categorize that information, and then how to actually target playlists on Spotify that are going to fit with your music. So hopefully that's helpful. Sorry, man, I don't mean to be pitching the course like all hot and heavy, but it's a great resource. And probably the coolest part about the course, other than I think there's 16 or 17 classes in the course. But probably one of the coolest things about it is you get invited into a private Facebook group of people that have taken this course. And I have learned so much stuff from this, man. Like, I'm learning stuff from the students because they're voracious, They're like doing all this research and, I just found this website and I just found this. And so it's a really cool learning community. I've benefited from it a lot, actually. So yeah, thanks for your grace on that, Alex. Like I said, I don't mean to be like, hey, check out the course every 5 seconds, but that particular question lended itself to it. Lots of stuff I could cover about streaming platforms, but I'm actually going to transition now to something I've been experimenting with for the last year. I've been developing it for about a year. I've actually spent 3 days or something promoting it, and I've had some fairly cool success. So it's the idea of memberships. I started thinking about all the different ways online to all the different streams that are possible for artists. One of those is streaming music, but one of those is memberships. And you'll actually see platforms like Patreon, for instance. If you've never heard of Patreon, it's actually a pretty cool platform at helping artists of all kinds crowdfund progressively. So instead of doing a one-time Kickstarter, you invite friends and family and fans to this Patreon page, and they can give $5 a month or whatever. So it's kind of a reoccurring income that helps you as an artist grow in your financial sustainability, but it also helps you identify who your fans are, connect to them personally. It's really cool. So I started looking into Patreon, and 2 things occurred to me about that particular website. And this isn't a bash on them at all. It's just 2 things that occurred to me that led me to choose a different option. I looked at the website and I realized something. I can jump on, create a profile on there, invite a bunch of people to it. But Patreon is a lot like Facebook in that you've got a bunch of people that own those websites. And even though you create your own profile on there, you don't own your profile. They own your profile. And so as things they're seeming to increase and get more stringent in terms of what those platforms like you saying. So they're trying to like manage and control people's language and what they say and what they advocate for and all that stuff. As that increases, and I think it probably will, that means if you say something that they don't like, that seriously, with a keystroke, they can delete all your work. It's not your property, and you can't have any recourse about that. You can't go to them and say, well, that's not fair. They're like, it's our property, and we didn't want you on our property anymore, so bye. Doesn't matter if you've spent a ton of money doing it. Doesn't matter if you've spent tons of hours. They can literally delete it just right there. And Facebook can do the same exact thing. So if you're spending all this time, energy, and effort building up a giant Facebook page, understand that, with the increased censorship that we're seeing, it's most likely you're not going to say anything that'll get you kicked off. But the point is, they can erase you and delete you immediately. Well, as I was thinking about that, I thought, maybe I could just recreate something similar to what Patreon is doing on my website, because the only person that can screw that up is me. I'm not going to delete everything because I'm saying something weird. The only person that can wreck my website is me. And so that was the first reason that I chose to kind of build a membership type of an idea on my own website. The second reason was I looked at the percentages of the money that Patreon or platforms like this take. It's between 10 and 15%. Well, if you're making $10, yeah, you give somebody $1 and you make $9. That's great. That's awesome if it's a 10% take that they're taking. But, if it's $1,000, I'm giving $100 away, or $150 if it's 15%. And I'm thinking, yeah, I would like to have that in my pocket instead of give that to them. So for those two reasons, the financial and the increased censorship and all that stuff and the control, I just decided to create this on our website. So if you want to take a look at this, feel free to rip off the idea. It's a great idea and it's working really well. But if you want to, you can go to mountaincitymusic.com, just click on partners, and you'll be able to see what I've built out. So I spent like the last year kind of developing this whole thing, the content, the concepts, the perks that I would be offering people. And then I just said, I started inviting friends and fans. I probably spent 3 days inviting friends and fans to do this, and almost $500 a month. I did not exhaust the people that I could invite at all. There's just people that love you. They love your music. They want to get behind you. They resonate with what you're doing. And if you give them an opportunity to do that, they will. If you invite them into something that's special or exclusive, that is super powerful. So that's what I did. I've worked on it, like I said, for about 3 days. I get about $500 a month from it. It's not a ton, but it's $6,000 a year. I mean, it's not bad. And I've only worked on it for 3 days. I've only promoted the thing for 3 days. In fact, I was just about ready to launch the thing. We had all of our videos done and the whole website all figured out. And I was going to launch it in March. And then the virus thing totally hosed or messed up that entire concept. So I'm going to wait for the fall to re-engage in that. But yeah, it's super powerful. So here's what I want to throw out. This is a premier opportunity for you to become an online musician. I'm trying to show you some different ideas on how to create income streams. So the first one was streaming. The second one is membership. For any artist that does not have a membership program where you're inviting people to invest in you and your music, you are losing money every month. You're leaving money on the table. There's money that could be in your account that is not currently in your account because you don't have a membership thing set up. If it's at Patreon, great. If it's something else, awesome. My suggestion is that you build your own. Highly suggest it. It is worth every minute of time that you invest in it. It's not just $6,000 a year, or for 1 year. It's $6,000 every year if I never promote it anymore. And of course I will. But that's every year, perpetually moving forward. That's crazy. That's really cool. So I could go on and on about that whole concept, but I just want to throw that out to get your wheels turning so that you can start thinking about, what does it look like for me to develop a membership thing? You can call it partnership. You can call it whatever you want. I actually first called it a subscription, but I'll give you a little tip. I called it a subscription. I started promoting it that way. And I really like watching and observing people and how they react and how they respond to what I'm saying. And so I was sitting there talking to them, and like person after person after person. And I started realizing that when I said the word subscription, automatically in their mind, they started thinking about every other subscription they have. And they started thinking about, like I could see it happening. They started thinking about, okay, I spend $10 a month for Netflix and it gets me this. I spend $5 a month for this sponsorship and it gets me, or a subscription, and it gets me these things. So I started realizing that when I said the word subscription, it started muddying the waters of my communication, because they were like thinking about all these other subscriptions and comparing what they were getting over here to what I was offering over here. And it totally diluted my message, because all I was trying to tell them was, look, I know you love us. I know you love our music. And what I want to invite you to do is partner with us so that we can make more music. That simple, that easy. But as soon as I said the word subscription, it started muddying all of their brains up. They started thinking about comparing their subscriptions to the one I was offering. So what I did was, after I noticed that a few times, I pivoted and changed the language from subscription to partnership. You can use whatever language you want, but I would encourage you, as you land on language, just to be aware of how people are reacting, how they're responding, and see if it's the best language that really captures what you're trying to communicate. So that's just like kind of a little insider tip. But seriously, you have to do this. You have to think about it. You have to become an online musician in this way. It is so, so powerful. I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to kind of transition. By the way, again, if you have any questions, I don't mean to be like a talking head here. Feel free to communicate, type in something, and I'll do my best to try to answer it. Can't guarantee that I'll know the answer, but I'll give it a shot. So I'm highlighting different ways of making money. Streaming, all online. Streaming, membership. Now I'm going to talk to you about something that I developed a bunch of years ago. One of the ways that I am wired is I really love helping people identify and then pursue their dreams. And I've spent the majority of my adult life giving myself to this passion, helping people identify and pursue their dreams. And most of the time, when I'm helping somebody identify them and then pursue them, I don't know how to do what their dream is. So here's an example. A buddy of mine wanted to do a big music festival in Colorado, where I live. And he wanted to start with 70 bands and 7 stages in one day. He'd never done a festival before, and I had never done one before. But here I am with this passion of helping my friends identify and pursue their dreams. And he had this dream. And so we just jump into the deep end, start learning and developing all of this stuff in preparation for a festival that we would hold the following summer. So we worked on it, pulled a team together, and we thought maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people would come, and 12,500 people showed up. Like, I ran out of parking and food and water in 2 hours. I was like, oh no. So we ran to the store, bought like 2 pallets of water, had it delivered, start handing it out to everybody so they wouldn't die in the hot summer sun. Ugh, super stressful. The next year it went up to 23,000. The next year it went to 27,000. The next year it went to 33,000. It was crazy. I learned so much during that season. One of the things that I learned is the power of building a team that increases your organic reach on social media and just kind of in culture in general. So we developed this team called the Loudmouth team. my singer-songwriter duo with me and my wife Tara, we have a loudmouth team. This team is brilliant. As you start to identify people that are just loving you, loving your music, what I started doing was inviting them into a special exclusive team called the Loudmouth team. And I basically said, I'll give you all of our music for free. You'll be the first to know about music before we release it to the public. You'll get invited to my home for a special barbecue just for us and a special concert, just for that team. In exchange, when I post something on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, what I want to invite you to do is like it, comment on it, and share it. Now, you don't have to do every post. Just, I'll like shoot you a text or an email when I specifically want a post to be liked, commented on, and shared. So at that time, as I was building this, I would make a post on Facebook. And maybe 10 people would see it and respond. I start building this team of loudmouths, and I would text them out, hey, I just posted something on Facebook. Jump on there, like it, comment, and share. Just like that, like in a month, it went from 10 responses to hundreds of responses. I'd post a video, it would get like 100 views. I sent the link out to the Loudmouth team and say, hey, like, comment, and share on the thing. It starts going through the roof. There's thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of videos on some, or of views on some of those videos. I asked those loudmouths to review us on Facebook because there's almost nothing better than social proof. Leah talks about this all the time. Social proof is so powerful. When other people get on and say something nice, say something kind or endearing about your music, it lets everybody know these people aren't just amateurs. These people are good, and you can expect good things when you listen to them. Social proof is super powerful. And so I started asking all of these loudmouth, all the people on my loudmouth team, give us reviews on Facebook, give us reviews on LinkedIn, give us reviews everywhere you can think of. At that time, iTunes was still really selling a lot of songs. So I'd say, review our songs on iTunes. The more reviews there, the better chances it has of being sold. So what I saw was that this team was enhancing our organic reach on every post in a huge, huge way. And so I just want to throw this idea out to you as well. Think about building a loudmouth team. You can call it whatever you want. You don't have to call it that, but feel free to rip it off if you want to. This team has been so powerful, but this team actually was kind of it was kind of like an exploration of something that I was actually going for. Like, it really helped to have a team of people that were like liking and commenting and all that stuff. It's good for your own, like, for the health of your soul, I guess, because people are like saying, good job, you don't suck, that type of stuff. But what I was really looking for in building that team was super fans. Leah and Steve talk about this all the time. Super fans, developing a team of super fans is so incredibly powerful. And I heard Leah say it like this. She said, what is there, 7.8 billion people in the world right now? Could you find 1,000 people out of 7.8 billion that love your music, that love you? If you can find those 1,000 people, could you create a way for each one of those 1,000 people to give you $100 in a year? So you have 1,000 people times $100. That's $100,000. That's a six-figure income. Could you do this? Could you find 1,000 people and give them opportunities to give you just $100 in a year? If you do that, you got a six-figure business online. Amazing. So I built this loudmouth team, which Dorothy, I see your comment, says how many people are on my loudmouth team. Right now there's like 75. It's not even that huge. Of course, I mean, it's nothing to shake a stick at either. It's 75 people. It's pretty cool. But that community started transitioning into a super fan community. Now all of a sudden I'm like, hey guys, will you be a partner with us? Will you support us each month? And they're like, yes, 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 all day long. I say, hey, we just released a song. Can you help share it all over the place? Yes, all day long. We see our streams go up because of these people, which means when streams go up, finances go up. Awesome. So we share the song with them. They share it with all their friends. Super powerful. Dorothy, you said, do you offer lifetime free music? So basically what I told them, great question. You can offer them whatever you want. What Tara and I decided to do was to offer them everything in the past. And as long as they continue being a partner with us or a member with us, whatever language you want, as long as they kept doing that, they would have access to all new music. I've never offered anything, lifetime. I know that some people do, and I'm not even opposed to the idea. I just haven't done that. I like the idea that as they're currently contributing, that I have a way to invest back in them and to give them incentive to continue, giving. So anyway, if you want to hear more about the Loudmouth team, I'd love to talk more about it. If you want to hear more about members, I'd love to talk more about that. If you want to hear more about streaming, I'd love to talk more about that. Yeah, I think that was kind of I just wanted to touch on a few of those things, see if there's any interest or any feedback, and ultimately just help you transition from a service-oriented mindset to a product-oriented mindset. A membership is a product. Every song is a product. Streaming is an opportunity for you, or a platform for you to get your product out there. Building a team of loudmouths helps to get your product literally around the world. So just trying to throw out some ideas while you're sitting at home thinking, marinating. Some of you are struggling financially because you've been focused on this service-oriented mindset. Now you've got time. Now you can't go out. It is just time. Everybody, listen, man. It is time to become an online musician. Put your eggs in that basket. You can always book a show. You can always go make $200 for playing 4 hours at a coffee shop. You can always book a show for your entire band for $50 at a dive bar. You'll always be able to do that. But what are you doing to transition from that, from trading your time for dollars, into developing products and marketing those products well online so that literally while you sleep at night, you're making money? I said this earlier in the show or in this live stream, but I make $12 an hour while I sleep, while I'm awake 24 hours a day. Just on this particular online business, not on anything else that I'm doing. I don't have to play a bunch of live shows anymore unless I want to. And personally, Tara and I love playing live shows. It's a blast. We love people so much. We love the interaction. We love making a measurable difference in people's lives. Like, that is powerful and good. We love it. But I don't like going and investing a ton of time for $20 or for $3 an hour or splitting it 5 ways with a band. I don't like just having to play those lower level shows. Ultimately, here's what I want to throw out. And then I'd love questions, thoughts, feedback. The last thing that I want to throw out is if you focus on building your online business, those live opportunities will come to you. They really will. As more people find out about you around the world, people are going to start reaching out to you saying, hey, can you come to a concert at our home? Can you come to our venue? Can you come to our event? Can you come to our fundraiser? Whatever it is, they're going to be calling if you establish yourself online, because everybody's online. So there you go. There's a few thoughts, a few quarantine thoughts for you. All right, what questions do you have? I'll just stay on for a few more minutes. Field any questions that you might have. It might get a little bit quiet or awkward until you ask questions or invite, or until you like type something up. And I'm just going to grab a guitar really quick, and I'll just play until I wait for your comments, which will be really fun. Oh yeah. All right. Look at this little beauty. Okay, let's check out. Here's some comments coming. Here we go. Yeah, Marina, so many good ideas, so little coffee. Yep, I feel you on that. Okay, Sam. I don't see the point of playing 50 little shows. It actually makes you look worse. Playing 5 really big shows are worthwhile. Yeah, that's true, man. And in the service-oriented mindset, what comes along with that is you have to play 50 little shows in order to get the 5 big shows. And I will say again, if you focus on building your stuff online, your opportunity to play 5 big shows drastically increases, while playing 50 little shows may or may not increase your probability of getting 5 big shows. At least that's my opinion. Okay, what do I offer to members, Grace? Good question. You can feel free to cruise over to my website. You can check out all of that stuff. But let me just pull it up so I can read a couple of these to you. Yes, Marina, I will scroll. I will scroll. I just got to get to these questions really quick. All right. So on our website, which is mountaincitymusic.com, just for reference, go on there, click on Music Partners, and the things that I'm currently offering are things like access to a private Facebook group, which is exclusive content, maybe a monthly mini concert on Facebook Live, sneak peeks to new songs before they're recorded, invitations to private listening parties at our home, which will also stream to our private Facebook page, just a relaxing evening to hear songs and the stories behind them. Downloadable chord charts, lyric sheets, 10% anything off of anything on our online store, our entire song catalog, opportunity to buy discounted tickets to live performances, and 20% off to any time somebody wants to book us for house concerts. So those are some basic things. Okay, scrolling, Marina, I'm scrolling. Okay, Paul, my name is Paul Frazier. How can I make my own online website? Okay, Paul, what I want to encourage you to do is go to Savvy Musician Academy. Just type that in, Savvy Musician Academy, which I think you're already obviously on or watching at least. Click on there, send them a message on Facebook, or go to their website. They've got some incredible resources they'll just literally walk you through this process. Ultimately, you can go somewhere like Shopify and build your own online website and like an online store as an example. Or you can go to something like WordPress, which is what I use. They provide a lot of templates, but unless you know what you're doing, it's kind of brain damaging. The Savvy Musician Academy is killer at helping people figure all that stuff out. Rebecca, how much do you charge for your membership, for a membership site? Okay, what I did, Rebecca, was I actually integrated a membership option into my website, and I just worked with a web designer to do that. I'd be happy to connect you with them. They did an awesome job. They did it, other than me providing all the information and content, they did an awesome job at the functionality and laying it out how I wanted it right now. I'd be happy to give you their information if you'd like that. Just shoot us a message and I'll shoot you that link. But it was really a pretty easy process. The most difficult thing was just trying to figure out what I wanted to say and what we wanted to offer. So there you go. Let's see. Love the SMA course, by the way. It's working wonders. This is Brandon. Okay. Now to figure out how to be more product minded. Yep, that is for real. Victor, from all revenue sources, which ones are you recommending us to focus on? Album sales directly to fans over streaming, merchandise sales, crowdfunding, or sponsorships? Great question, Victor. My suggestion, I was just doing some consulting with an artist like 2 days ago, and he asked this exact question. And I said, for him and his situation, I said, focus on streaming and focus on memberships. The reason I told him those two things, though, is because I already know that he's done the groundwork at uncovering his why. Victor, this is huge. And for any artists, literally for any business, if we don't take the time to understand why we are doing art and develop language around our why so that we're very clear about why we do what we do, if we don't take the time to do that, literally you're building a business that can just go up, down, left, right. It goes all over the place. It doesn't have focus or intention. And so this artist already had all of that groundwork laid. So my first suggestion is for anybody, focus. Oh, that was my sweetie. You just saw her. Honey, hi there. She may not want to come out and say hi, but she's back there. You can come say hi to everybody if you want to.
Okay.
All right. But no pressure if you don't want to. Anyway, sorry, Victor. Back to it. For any business, you have to clarify your why. It will function as a filter for decision-making process for you. So important. So after the why is figured out, then I'm going to suggest that you work on online sales like a store, which Savvy Musician Academy is amazing at. And that is inclusive of album sales directly to fans and merchandise sales, and digital sales. So focus on an online store. The Savvy Musician Academy is killer for all of that stuff. Focus on streaming, definitely. And then focus on membership. So, I mean, I tend to work at one thing at a time because all of this stuff, if I try to think about how am I going to accomplish everything simultaneously, my head explodes. Maybe you're the same way. But I really like to focus in on one thing so that I can just crush that one thing. And so I think probably just, Victor, if you want to have like a deeper conversation about it, just shoot a message. I'll connect with you and or somebody from the team will connect with you and we'll help you get it figured out. What might be the first best step for you. So, okay. So Marina, you said you'd love a link to our website. Maybe it's obvious to find, sorry. So you can see how we've built the community and membership. Okay, so just go to www.mountaincitymusic.com and you'll be able to check all of that stuff out. Yep, so there's that. Rebecca, your question about how much we charge our members. Okay, so originally when I did the sponsorship approach last fall, I had specific amounts and specific perks for those amounts. So I had like an entry-level $8 a month option that would get you all of these different things. Access to exclusive content, blogs, podcasts, videos, all that stuff. But then I started realizing that some people were moved by the increasing perks and benefits, but most people that I was talking to, they just love us. They love our music and they want to help and support. And I kind of wonder if that's going to be the same across the board for you, for me, for anybody. So because of that, when we pivoted from the subscription language over to the partner language or the member language, what we decided to do was give them the option to invest or to contribute whatever amount they wanted, and everybody was going to get the same access. And what that did was, from a psychological standpoint, if people just want to be generous, radically generous, they can be. And it doesn't have to be attached to a perk. This is one thing that I found out, that as I attached perks to specific dollar amounts, people over and over again that I was talking to just said, we just want to support you. We don't need the perks. I mean, they're great and we'll use them, but we don't need them. And I just thought that was so amazing. So to answer that question, I would just say, You can try it like what I did at first. You can, like Kickstarter, you can assess a specific dollar amount to specific perks, connect those two. But I'm experimenting right now with just giving people freedom to make their own choice, choose their own amount, and then they get access to all the stuff. Hopefully that helps you, Rebecca. Paul Frazier, can I write that down for you? It's your first time. I think that there'll be some notes, Paul, in the bottom in the video. But I just said like an hour worth of stuff-ish, so I don't even know where I would start. But I might be able to write down some kind of cliff notes or something like that. Oh, good. And just go to the SavvyMusicianAcademy.com. Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, Marina, so true. A million tasks, getting nervous about it. Now trying to think one step at a time. That's it. Just one step at a time, focus and work on one thing at a time. I didn't develop a 6-figure online music business overnight. It's taken 2.5 years to do that. I totally believe you could do it too. You just got to work hard, but I'll bet you could do it. I didn't do it overnight, and I didn't do it by thinking or trying to do 1,000 things at one time. I would just focus on one thing. I'm going to focus on streaming right now. I'm going to focus on memberships right now. I'm going to focus on my online store right now. So that's my suggestion. Paul, do you write songs? I want to learn how to write a book, how I can do that. I do write songs. And in fact, one of the perks that I gave Paul when I was doing the subscription thing last fall, I said, if you subscribe with us for $100 a month, after 9 months of subscribing with us, we will write you a custom song. That has been cool. In fact, if you go to our website, feel free to rip this off too, because it's genius. It's working like a dream. We write custom songs for people. So what we do is people will go through kind of, if they want an iPhone recording or a professional recording, if they want us to show up live and play that song at a party or a anniversary or a wedding or whatever it is, there's different options for that on our website. But we are writing custom songs for people right now. Seriously, everybody, you should try this. It is so cool. Offer it. Feel free to rip it off. It's a great idea, especially if you're a songwriter. Now, if you hate writing songs, it's a terrible idea. Okay, very good. I've got down to the bottom of the questions and comments. I'll just wait a couple minutes more. Are there any other comments, questions, or concerns? Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the opportunity. All right. Any more questions? Okay, Marina. Is OBS as hard as people say? That's what's stopping me from streaming. Talk to me about OBS. What is that? Is like putting your music out on all those platforms. Is that what's holding you back? Feel free to fill me in on that. I'm going to answer a couple other questions. Excuse me. Rebecca, do you recommend focusing on Amazon streaming over Spotify? Okay, so it depends on what your goals are. Ultimately, I focus on streaming entirely. Spotify has the most robust and best opportunity to connect with other playlist curators and really see your numbers grow, and so you can make money there. However, Amazon makes you more money. So somebody asked me this. They were asking me like, "Hey, I'm not noticing that you have a lot of stuff on YouTube. Why is that?" And I said, because I don't want to focus on YouTube, so I don't hardly put anything up there. And they were like, why not? That's like the platform for music discovery. And I said, the reason why is because it's not a good business move for me. And it might be good for other people. Other people certainly have gained they've certainly gained some traction and stuff that way on that platform. But the payouts, I think YouTube and Pandora seem to be currently the worst platforms at paying out artists. It's like 1/10 of a cent. So when I think about it from a business standpoint, do I want to invest a bunch of time building a platform that gets me 1/10 of a cent? Or do I want to work on something like Spotify, which gets me 4/10 of a cent, literally 4 times the money? And then if I think about it that same way about Amazon, if Amazon is about a cent, like I can describe how, or at least I can attempt to describe how payouts work for Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music. But in the United States, if a song gets streamed in the United States on Amazon right now, it's 1.3 cents per stream. That's 13 times more than YouTube. That's almost 3 times the amount of Spotify. It's less. No, it is. It's 3 times the amount. A little over. 3 times the amount that Spotify does. So my suggestion is, let's get a bunch of people listening on Amazon. Let's get people listening on Apple Music because they pay out more than Spotify. However, Spotify is really great for social proof. If you have a bunch of monthly listeners, if you have a bunch of followers, if you have a bunch of streams on your top 10 songs, it makes people know, oh yeah, you're legit. So hopefully, Rebecca, that answers your question there. Okay, so Marina and Steve, you're talking about the software that allows you to stream to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I get it. Okay, let me go back to... So what I do, Marina, I just set up my phone and do streaming. I don't actually stream to multiple platforms from one phone or from one camera. If I want to do stream to 2 or 3 platforms, I use 2 or 3 phones and stream it that way. So I actually haven't done anything with OBS stuff like Ecamm or anything like that. So sorry I couldn't be more helpful to you about that, but maybe somebody else in the community has, and feel free to ask that question because I think that's a great question. I just haven't ever tried it, so wish I had a better answer for you. All right, anybody else? Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to sign out in just a minute. Has this been helpful to you? While we're waiting for any other questions or anything to pop in, maybe you can hit the little thumbs up or a heart or something like that if this has been helpful to you. I hope it has been. I'm trying to invest in you and your career and just help you think a little bit differently. Very good. I'm seeing a couple of thumbs up. William, good question. What do I do about lighting? Like right now, it's daytime where I am, and I'm just sitting by a window, so this is all natural light and then light from the room. I used to have a pretty elaborate lighting system, and then I was like, it's so brain damaging. So I just abandoned it and used what I have at my house. So hopefully that helps you, William. Rebecca, last one. Have you found Facebook ads to be effective to grow your listeners on Spotify, or should you focus more on playlists? Great question, Rebecca. So I have tried running ads to increase streams on Spotify. Well, about it is if you run Facebook ads to get more followers on Facebook, if you run Facebook ads to try to get more followers on Spotify, I've seen that be more effective than streams. So here's the kind of the financial approach to it. If you invest in an ad, a Facebook ad, and try to get people over to stream a song, again, the payouts for each stream is 4/10 of a cent. If you are paying 5 cents, which is really low, to get people to transition over to your Spotify so that you can earn 4/10 of a cent. That's not a great business move financially. Nobody would invest 5 cents in order to make 4/10 of a cent. You're losing money like hand over fist there. However, if you get people to actually follow you on Spotify, every time you release music, Spotify shoots them an email and invites them to come listen to your music. That is an ongoing investment instead of a one-time investment. And so what you're doing in that case is you're looking for fans or potential super fans, getting them to go over and press that follow button. And as you release new music, they'll stay connected with you, which doesn't mean 4/10 of a cent one time. It means they could put you on a playlist. They could stream you all the time at their house or their job. They could do all kinds of things. So my suggestion would be, if you're going to try to do Facebook ads, do them to get followers on Spotify rather than streams. Aside from that, my suggestion to you is focus on getting on playlists. The key for this, for Spotify anyway, is you get on a bunch of different playlists so that you will trigger the Spotify algorithm. And then Spotify starts promoting the music for you. That's what you want. So you work really hard, get on a bunch of different playlists, and then Spotify's algorithm shows up and starts promoting it all over the world. So as an example, when I started streaming stuff in 2017, my goal was to have 50,000 streams by the end of the year, and I already had like 30,000. So I just needed, between July and December, I needed 20,000 streams. That was my goal. I started getting on a bunch of playlists. The Spotify algorithm kicked in, and I ended the year not with 50,000 streams, but with 1.8 million streams. As I've continued to do this over the last 2.5 years, I'm seeing an average of about 1 million streams per month on all the different platforms. So, pretty sweet. Hopefully that's helpful to you. So, just in a recap, get on as many playlists as you can. Dorothy, thank you for your kindness about my guitar playing. I felt like I had all thumbs right there. But thank you for your kindness. Appreciate that. Marina, I'm so glad it was helpful to you, and you're welcome, William. Dorothy, my website is www.mountaincitymusic.com. Somebody might be able to put that in the comments or something like that. Steve, your suggestion is to talk about Spotify for Musician course and how it can help with streaming and playlists and all that stuff. Okay, so I partnered with the Savvy Musician Academy last year to create a Spotify course. I talked about this earlier in the live stream a little bit, but our heart was just, how do we educate and help artists find super fans, find hot spots where their music is really connecting, so that you can figure out how to promote there, maybe even play live there if you wanted to, how to connect with other artists in terms of collaboration, but also, and primarily, how do you make money on this platform? And so we put together a course. You can see the course at savvymusicianacademy.com. It's called the Spotify for Musicians course. It's actually half off right now. It's on a 50% sale. So if you want to go over and check it out, that'd be great. Like I said earlier, the best part of that thing, the 17 courses are really good, really informative, and it's everything that I'm doing to grow streaming and my income. I literally just take it through like step by step, line on line, just step 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through the process. And I'll say something else about that in a second. But the course is super helpful for figuring out how to make money on Spotify and how to find fans and stuff like that. So head over to the website, check that out. It is on a 50% sale. The thing that I was going to tell you was, I started this whole Spotify journey in 2017. Now it's 2020, so we're talking about 2.5 years later, almost coming up on 3 years later. And I think probably 600 musicians have taken the Spotify for Musicians course. Oh, good. There's the link. Yeah, check out the link there. I think about 600 musicians from all over the world have taken the course so far. It has been so cool to watch musicians that have good quality music and songwriting go from 0 monthly listeners up, 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 up. It's been so awesome. It actually like gives life to my soul, watching people grow in their monthly listeners, in their streams, in their finances. Oh, it fires me up. It is so cool. So that being said, I kind of wondered, maybe I got into the Spotify thing at the right time. Maybe the algorithms weren't as stringent or stiff as they are right now. And I wonder if it would work for me again. So my wife and I just started a secondary project, just because it's a passion, but also in the back of my mind, I'm just curious, if I try the principles I teach from ground zero, does it work? Would it work? And so about 24 days ago, I released a single underneath this new project. On all platforms, it's had about, excuse me, it's had about 25,000 streams this month. I've made probably $300 from that particular song this month, just employing all of the strategies that I show in this course. And it went from 0 monthly listeners to about 3,000 in 24 days. And it's just kind of going up and up and up. And the algorithm on Spotify hasn't even clicked in yet. It hasn't even triggered yet. So this is all just getting on people's playlists, connecting with people. I'm having great conversations with people in tons of different countries too, man. I was talking this morning to a guy in Canada, in Vancouver. Talking last night to a guy in New Zealand, another guy in South Africa. We're having great conversations. I talked to a lovely gal in New Jersey. Just fun conversations, finding out how they're doing and seeing how they're holding up with the virus stuff and if they're staying healthy and just trying to encourage them. And man, it's been so cool to connect with people literally all over the world. So this gives me faith. It gives me faith that not only am I seeing other musicians that are going from 0 to a lot higher monthly listeners and seeing their streams and finances increase, but I'm just trying it for the last 24 days. I mean, I've worked on it 3 or 4 nights, and it went from 0 monthly listeners to about 3,000. I think it's like 2,950 or something right now. It's going up every day, 8,000 or 9,000 streams so far on Spotify, a bunch on Amazon, a bunch on Apple Music. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. I really hope that it is. Again, there is a link for the course. If you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. We'd love to have you as a part of that community and just love to help you figure the whole thing out. I love that community because if you have questions, if you get stuck, everybody pitches in and helps out. So, all right. I think that's it. Let's see. Somebody just wrote, Marina. Thank you. Okay, very good. I'm so glad, Marina, that you felt inspired. And I agree. Thank you, SMA. Thank you, Savvy Musician Academy, for inviting me to be a part of this and contribute to these artists. Leah, Steve, thank you for your friendship. And thanks for allowing me the opportunity to invest in people. Everybody, stay safe. Wash your hands. I probably touched my face like 700 times during this video. I apologize for that. Except that none of you are going to get sick when I touch my face right here. So, but I will be washing my hands after this video, just so you know. Hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep making great art, high quality stuff, and just shoot any texts or any messages or anything to Savvy Musician Academy. We're totally down to help you. So, all right, Dave Powers signing off. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.